topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Hello and welcome to the Connected Table Live. We're your hosts, Melanie Young and David Ransom. You're insatiably curious culinary couple. We love to travel the world and take you to the places we visit, the people we meet, the wines we taste, and the foods we eat. Because we want you to eat, drink, explore, and be inspired with us. So follow along at the Connected Table on Instagram. Check out our blog by the same name. And welcome to the show. So we have this beautiful, where are we, David? Look at the beautiful towers behind us.
The towers, it's the beautiful picturesque medieval village of San Gimignano in Tuscany.
Okay, it's one of the most popular tourist destinations in Tuscany.
I think they say like 1 million people a year come through there in tourist season.
Yeah,
it's
least.
Crazy. Bus loads every day and the streets are packed. But in the off season, which is when we tend to go,
amazing.
It's actually beautiful and peaceful.
Yeah, it is
and
a
the shops are still open.
And it is a year-round destination.
Yeah.
So it's a walled medieval town, and it's considered one of the most beautiful. And the reason is simple. It is called the Town of Beautiful Towers. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 1990. At one time, San Gimignano had 72 towers, which were testaments to the aristocratic wealth and power of the city, because the families owned towers to protect their wealth. And these towers are very tall. Today, only 14 remain, but you can actually go to the top of them. We did in this trip.
We actually went to the top of one this last trip, yeah.
It involved stairs and a ladder. So it's not for the faint of heart, but it was great. There's some wonderful historical museums. It's a well-preserved town with many museums, lots of hills, so bring really good walking shoes. It's also, this area is known for saffron and wine, which we're going to talk about. There are many reasons to visit San Gimignano besides its great beauty. We have discovered after numerous visits, it's a terrific dining destination.
Yeah, it's got 2 or 3 Michelin starred restaurants.
Or Michelin rated, yeah. One is a Michelin star.
Yeah.
We've been to several. San Martin is one. Conquibus we went to this time and we loved it. There's dining for everyone. There's also one of Italy's and the world's most famous gelaterias, Gelateria Dondoli. Sergio Dondoli is the affable, delightful owner. I got to sit next to him at dinner.
Yeah, we had so much fun with him.
He's amazing. And people line up really early. So I think the secret is to go very early or very late after the tour buses leave.
And he consistently wins best gelato in Italy.
Yeah.
At the Italian gelato.
But he's also a world champion.
Championships, yeah.
There's a movie made out by him, Most Happy Fella. He is delightful, and the gelato is great. Now, it's funny because there's a lot of other gelaterias in town that say they're the most famous. We didn't taste it. We keep saying we're going to try, but we keep going back to Dondoli. And then this town and the surrounding region is home to one of the most noble grapes and most renowned white wines of Italy. We're talking about Vernaccia di San Gimignano DOCG. It's so renowned that it is one of the few wine grapes that actually took on the name of the town where it is born. It is a 1,750-year-old heritage. So
750, not 17.
I mean, 700, I can't read my notes. 750-year-old heritage dating back to medieval times. It's considered the White Queen of Tuscany.
Yeah, and it's a long name, so most people just call it Vernaccia.
Right. Yeah. But the official name is Vernaccia di San Gimignano. It's a DOCG wine, so that's the highest quality designation of wines in Italy. It's called the White Queen of Tuscany because it is the only DOCG white wine in Tuscany, and it's surrounded by all the great noble red wines of Tuscany. There are other amazing white wines in Tuscany. We've tasted some terrific Vermentinos, but Vernaccia di San Gimignano is the DOCG, and there's a lot of civic and pride in this area. In fact, there's an annual wine festival that we were able to go to the preview. It's open to the public. It's called Regina Ribelli, so Rebel Queen. And we were there just as it was about to take place. This is a terrific wine for a lot of reasons. If you like a really crisp, mineral-driven wine with some great tropical notes and also some stone fruits, but also that hint of salinity that kind of creates that pop, you're going to love this wine.
Yeah, it's an interesting, a lot of that has to do with the soils in the region. Tuscany was under the sea at one point, so there's a lot of seashells in the soil, and you can find examples of fossilized seashell when you go into a lot of the wineries, because as they plant the vineyards and dig up the fields to do so, they've unearthed a lot of the fossilized seashells. So it's it's got a lot of calcium and calcified soil. It's got a lot of iron in the soil. Which lends a lot of minerality to the wines, and also salinity.
And it's very food friendly. And also, we discovered that while many people think to drink white wines young, there's a lot of ageability in Vernaccia di San Gimignano. We tasted some terrific aged wines, and I think that's a big distinguishing characteristic, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. It's interesting. That was one of the big takeaways that I had this year. I've been to San Gimignano maybe 10 times. To taste the wines over the years, and every year I've noticed they just they're learning more about the grape, and modern winemaking is helping with that. But they're also learning how to make wine to age as well. Because when I first started going, which was maybe 15 years ago, they were great when they were young, but they weren't that great when they started to age. And now I see that they are releasing them later because they want them to age, and they've learned how to make them so that they do age. And I think that's a big part of what is in the future is going to make Vernaccia very successful.
I thought at this Anteprima, we tasted a lot of new releases. I thought they tasted better than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept saying, wow, I'm having like an amazing, love affair again with this wine. And I think the sapidity is really terrific. I would highly recommend anyone going to your retailer to ask for Vernaccia and see if you can find it so you can try it for yourself. We spent how many days? 2 days tasting and attending workshops and whatnot in San Gimignano. But then we also went to the countryside and visited 3 producers, which we're going to talk about now, because one of the great things is you can stay in San Gimignano. We stayed at the Hotel Cisterna. It's terrific. There's a few interesting small hotels, but you can also stay in agritourisms that many of the wineries offer in the countryside and have an exceptional experience.
Yeah, the area is dotted with small hotels. Some of them maybe up to 50 rooms or so. The La Capucine, which is outside of town, is actually a full service hotel. But most of the places to stay in the town are small boutique places to stay, like the Cisterna, which is where we stayed. Maybe 10, 15 rooms. That's it at the most.
It just depends on what you want in terms of an experience.
It helps keep the town feeling medieval as well.
Well, I think our advice is, we know you want to do a bus tour from Siena or wherever Florence is nearby, but we highly recommend spending a couple of nights in San Gimignano. There's some terrific museums and art galleries also.
Wonderful art.
Yeah, really, it's an artist, literary town. And of course, Dante Alighieri is the most famous author of note who has a history tied to San Gimignano. So there's a beautiful gallery to him and some wonderful museums. So I wouldn't rush it. We saw a lot of bus tours come in. They dashed to Dondoli. They got their Dondoli. They walked around. They climbed the tower. They got a pizza, whatever, and they left. And I don't think they got the full San Gimignano experience like we did.
No, we don't.
We were there 3 nights.
Absolutely.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about wine, because our trip, the purpose was to go to the Regina Ribelli Anteprima and taste the new releases and several others and meet producers. So let's talk about, and they did, just a footnote, the Consorzio Vernaccia di San Gimignano just did a first-rate job celebrating the Anteprima. They did a grand gala dinner. Italians love gala dinners. It was so exceptional at the end. And every detail was exquisite.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's a medieval village, and it's very historically accurate when you walk through the walls and walk up the streets. They don't allow cars in the streets during the daytime. It's not paved. It's all stone, laid stone. But there's a plaza in the center of town where the roads all meet, the streets all meet, and they actually take over that plaza and build a platform and then seat 150 people for dinner in the middle of the town plaza at night.
It was incredible
for this Regina Rebelli gala dinner, and it's the second time they've done it, and it's just an absolutely beautiful thing. You're sitting underneath the front of the church and the piazza, and it's just gorgeous.
And you're with the producers and the sommeliers come around and
dinner under the stars.
It's just it's pinch me. Of course, that was for us, the guests. So let's talk about what our friends and visitors to San Gimignano can expect, and also wineries to visit, because we really want you to have a great tourist experience. So we've been a couple of times. So we're going to focus this show first of all on who we visited this year, and if there's time, we'll mention the wineries we visited last year and the year before, or we'll share that show. This was a day, so it was just a day visiting wineries.
So one day of Regina Rebelli for us was dedicated to technical tastings.
Yes.
Where we all sat in a room and we tasted the wines, and we tasted through all the wines that they had.
It's like 60 wines.
60 wines.
Yeah.
And then in the afternoon there were some seminars, etc., that we attended as well. The next day was dedicated to winery visits,
which is so valuable.
Which is what we did, and they just started this program recently, allowing us to go to wineries. So
it makes a big difference.
It does make a big difference because we get to see the terroir.
Yeah,
we get to see the producers in their own space, and they get to show us their wines and talk about their wines. I think it was a wonderful addition to the program.
Yes, so thank you for that. So let's talk about who we visited. Our first visit was interesting. It was the morning visit. The morning visit always, your palate's really fresh. You kind of just had a little lightweight breakfast, and there will always be amazing food when you go to these tastings. And this was our welcome breakfast. So it was Agricola La Lastra, and actually it was two wineries coming together because we were talking about small and family owned. This winery, La Lastra, was founded in 1984. It's just 7 hectares. It's owned by an agronomist. Her name is Nadia Betti. Her winemaker brother is Christian Betti. Her husband is Renato Spanu, he's head of the consortium this year. Yep. He was slicing the most exquisite prosciutto for us. It was incredible. And she was making really this incredible ricotta spinach crepe. I kept reaching for it. That was just incredible. And they have a small agritourism in near Colli Senesi, Chianti Colli Senesi, where they also grow saffron, because we learned this is a big cash crop here.
So just for context, San Gimignano and Vernaccia di San Gimignano, DOCG, is a production within the Chianti region.
Yes.
And this particular Chianti region is Chianti Colli Senesi. So it's all kind of intertwined together. So a lot of wineries make more than just Vernaccia. They also make Colli Senesi red. And
to build on that, just to remind everybody, the DOC and DOCG designations they really get down to the grape. Mm-hmm. It could be the grape, it could be the region, it could be the province. So in this case, we're talking about a DOCG wine made from a specific grape. But as David said, then there's Colli Senesi, which is Senesi. It refers to the Siena area, which is a bigger area.
The largest appellation for red wine in Tuscany is the Chianti appellation.
Exactly.
And there's a number of Chiantis spread out through Tuscany. Mm-hmm. Chianti Classico is a specific area where they produce a specific type of Chianti.
And very specific guidelines.
And with very specific guidelines. But the broader Chianti is all over Tuscany, from the north to the south to the east to the west. And this is the Colli Senesi, which is in the southern end of the Chianti region for Tuscany.
Well, most are named after a significant town.
Correct.
So you've got the Colli Pisani, Pisa, Colli Senesi, Siena. Yeah. And Colli Fiorentini in the Florentine Hills. Correct. So that kind of puts it into geographical context.
And the list goes on.
And the list goes on. Just I think there's like 5 or 6, and the list goes on.
So let's talk about the Lalastro.
I like these wines a lot.
Yeah, they were nice.
We tasted a few, mainly Vernaccia. The Vernaccia di San Gimignano, we tasted 3. Excuse me. I like the wines. Many are aged in stainless, so you get that more salty. The salt. They kept saying salt, but don't think salt is a negative. It's a positive here. I say salinity, but it adds that a little piquant, not hot, but just a kick that lifts it up. Sometimes people say add a little salt to the sugar and that makes the flavors even better. That's what it does. That salinity makes the flavors pop, the fruit flavors pop. Whenever I drink these wines, I always get pineapple.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. So think about putting a little salt on a pineapple. Voila. Okay. Then add a little mango sometimes, or another stone fruit or peach.
And lemon as well. I get that too. And, the wines have great minerality due to the soils and salinity. And I think that's one of the things that helps them age well too.
But when they age, we tasted a 2019 and a 2015. And you have to remember the vintages varied. Some were warmer, some were rainier. So you have to deal with that. As they age and they're barrel aged, you get a little more vanilla toast. More floral characteristics, brioche, but lovely.
And for the most part, most producers make 2 types of Vernaccia. They make their what we call normale Vernaccia, which is the normal bottling, but then they also make a Reserva. Yes. And the Reservas oftentimes spend some time in oak barrel. So that helps with the vanilla characters and helps soften the wine a little bit.
Are there minimum aging requirements?
I don't believe there are.
I don't think there are. I mean, this is still the number one rule is to be Vernaccia. Sometimes there's a small amount of a Malvasia or Trebbiano in there, maybe under 5%, but it has to be like 95% the Vernaccia. But I don't think the aging, it's just it's Reserva if it has been aged for a period of time in barrel.
Yeah. So case in point with Lalastro, we tasted a 2023, which was their current vintage.
Right.
We tasted then also a 2018 of the regular Normale, and then we also tasted 2 Reservas. We tasted a 2019 and a 2015, and the Reservas definitely had more vanilla, a little bit of herbaceousness to them as well.
Well, a lot of it depends on the oak. Because the new oak creates more vanilla notes and more intensity versus the used oak. And then there's the small barrel versus the large barrel. As the more I taste, David, the more I'm, when they're doing Tonneaus and larger barrels, I'm seeing a level of freshness in the wines that seems consistent. I noticed that the more we were tasting. So we also tasted reds, as David noted, they're Colacinese reds, and we tasted a few reds. Did we taste them from Lastra, or we taste them from?
No, those were from those were from the partner winery for the morning tasting, which was actually Azienda Agricola Signano.
Oh, those wines were good.
Also very nice. And Pietro Signano is the owner and the winemaker. Nice guy. And we saw him a couple of times during our time there. He was also at some of the tasting and at the dinner that we attended. His wines are all single vineyard wines. I think that was very interesting.
That's his big hallmark.
And he makes both white and red wines. So he makes Vernaccia and Reserva Vernaccia, but he also makes Colacinese reds and then also some IGT Toscana Rossos, which are red wines.
I thought his wines were beautiful. Yeah. Very well made. He was an interesting guy. We got the chance throughout this short 3-day excursion to meet a lot of producers at dinners and whatnot. It was really valuable for us.
So with him, we tasted a 2023, and we also tasted a 2019. Both of these were single vineyard, as we noted earlier. But then, interestingly enough, we also tasted 2 very old wines that he brought out for us to try that really kind of showed how a well-aged Vernaccia will present itself. And one was a 2003, and then we also tasted a 2002.
Yeah, and then he brought out the Vincento.
And then we tasted reds.
Yeah,
he's got some beautiful reds in it. So one of the label on his wine says Poggiarello. It's Signano and then Poggiarello. That's the label of the wine. The Signano is actually the winery itself. So he calls all his wines Poggiarello. So we had tasted then also 2 Rossos, One was an IGT Toscana, and then the other was a Colli Senesi Chianti Rosso. Both were 2022, and very nice wines. And then, of course, there was the Vinsanto.
It was terrific. It was kind of it was a candied orange peel, almond, and vanilla. And we had, of course, some Cantucci with it. And you know, when anyone ever offers you Vinsanto, always say thank you. Absolutely. You know,
Vinsanto has a lot of regulations as to how you can make it.
Yeah.
And
always a limited quantity.
And they always make it in limited quality.
Often it's made for the family, right?
Spends a lot of time in the small chestnut barrels called Caratelli. And his was a 2008, which is a vintage that obviously has a decent amount of age on it, almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And it was just delightful.
It was beautiful. And that is very special. Yeah. So that was our morning. That was breakfast.
So that was the breakfast tasting.
Then we moved on to, and that was a very small farmhouse. The next, pottery means farmhouse, but there's poteries and then there's poteries. So the next visit was Pottery Archangel Agriturism. Okay, so there's places to stay. This is a big estate.
Podere Arcangelo.
Yes.
Archangel.
Which is the
so
name. And this is a full scale family run winery, but you've got on-site cooking classes. We saw people taking them there. You've got glamping. There's like 3 beautiful glamping setups, and then there's farmhouses to rent. Each has a own swimming pool. I think they said they could accommodate up to 120 people. So if you're looking for a getaway destination for the family or a special occasion between Siena and Florence, this is a great place.
And it's got a restaurant with a beautiful terrace overlooking the valley and the vineyards. And they have 2 pools on the property. They have chickens and turtles on the property as well. They showed us those. Yeah. And you know, it's a pretty decent sized property. I think it's 50 hectares or something like that.
It is.
And
so the family is
they've owned it for quite some time. The family, which is the Mora family,
right.
Mora, is actually originally from the Marche region, which is eastern Italy on the Adriatic coast. But they actually came over to Tuscany in the early 1900s, and the father actually worked for the railroad part-time and was doing some farming in his part-time and bought this little plot of land. So he was kind of dividing his time between working for the railroad and starting his own winery and growing grapes. And it was a small piece of land that he bought at first, but then after World War II, they started buying up more contiguous spaces of land, and now the winery is much bigger than it was.
Just to note, that's a recurring theme during many of our visits to Italy, and particularly on this visit. Many of the properties after World War II, so much land was abandoned and desecrated that and so many other areas were desecrated that many families were forced to leave their home, like Sicily or Marche or wherever. They were forced to start over in other areas. So they came to Tuscany, and in this case, we're talking about the area around the Senesi area, and they bought up land that had just been abandoned, and they kept building. That's how they were able to accumulate land wealth over the years. But it all unfortunately started with poverty and war. And we heard this story we've heard over and over and over again as we travel, which we as Americans don't have that experience. So it's really impressive to see how much hard work these families do in their multi-generational families. Yes. So we had the 4th generation, Alberto took us around, and then we had lunch on this beautiful glass enclosed terrace. These wines are available in the United States, I believe, and I think it was 60,000 bottles, all organic, but most are all bio-organic. Some are certified, some are not. Interesting range of wines. We tasted 2 that were sparkling. One was a Chermat, and one was a Metodo Classico. Both were Vernaccia, so you can find a terrific sparkling Vernaccia, but obviously very different because of the method made. They were called Prima Volta. I think the first one, the Chermat, was called Prima Volta.
Yes, and then the second one was just a
Metodo Classico.
Or classic method.
I like that one a bit better. Personally, I thought the first one was a little sweet.
I thought they were both nice.
Yeah, one had more white peach. So if you go for a more peachy floral, you'll love the Chermat. Then what was the next wine? We did a couple of, we tasted through a slew of Vernaccias.
We tasted a bunch of Vernaccias as well. Yeah. So we did, we tasted a 2025. We tasted two 2025.
They're all named for women, Dama and Madame Adore Bianco.
So it's interesting. They have one Vernaccia, and we tasted the 2025 version of it, which is called the Madame Adore.
It's a little bit of Chardonnay in it.
And it's got a tiny amount of Chardonnay in it, and which was interesting because that added a little weight to the
wine. A little waxiness. Yeah. Kind of interesting. Yeah.
And we also tasted that version as a 2024 as well.
It's just always fun to taste the same one in different vintages to see how they held up.
They also make a number of reds as well, because again, we're in Chianti as well. They grow a lot of Sangiovese on the property as well. So we tasted 3 reds actually.
It was interesting. The first time we went to this region to do the Anteprima, we were so focused on white wines that when we went to go to one of the wineries, and it was Il Colombaio actually, and he brought out the red wines. We were like, oh, we're going to taste reds too. And they're terrific.
Yeah.
It's not just a white wine region. It's just known as the white wine region for Vernaccia di San Gimignano, but there's some terrific reds as well. I think that's important to underscore.
And I think it's important to let everybody know that Tuscany is red wine country.
It really is, which is what makes Vernaccia so unique.
And that's why the fact that they've got this Vernaccia and it's DOCG, it's the only white DOCG wine in Tuscany and one of the first in Italy, actually.
Yeah. One of the oldest, I think. First.
I think it's I believe it's one of the oldest DOCGs in Italy as well.
It is.
So it, it's a very special wine, but there's a lot of red made around there too. Chianti Classico is right up the street. Brunello di Montalcino is right down the street.
We've had some good Merlot as well, international wines.
Some good international varieties are grown in the area as well, including at this winery because they do make one particular red. It's an IGT Toscana, so it's not one of the Chianti Colaseneses. It's called Gran Baccano, and that's a blend of Sangiovese and Cabernet.
Usually, so just a little point of reference, when it's named IGT, it's not a quality designation. It's a stylistic. They tend to be blends, or they could be 100% Sangiovese in a region where you have to have some blend.
Right.
So it's just the rules are a little different with IGT.
Case in point, Super Tuscans.
Exactly.
Super Tuscans, as we've talked about before.
Yes.
Super Tuscans are always IGT because they are made outside the guidelines of the area that they're usually made in.
So very important. It's not a quality designation. It's a stylistic designation.
Correct.
We got it before we go into the next winery. They brought out one of my favorite sweet wines, the Occhio di Pernice 2007. It's a type of Vinsanto made with Sangiovese. So the Vinsantos are normally Trebbiano and Malvasia.
That's the classic.
That's the classic blend. This is a darker, more raisiny looking, 50% Sangiovese, 25% Malvasia, and 25% Trebbiano. So you've got the red and the white mixed. A lot of candied orange peel and honey, a little viscosity to it. Beautiful wine. And they brought a homemade Cantucci to go with it, which I thought was really sweet. So again, if you're offered these wines, these sweeter wines, accept them because they're very hard to come by outside of the area.
I really enjoyed the visit to Poderio Cangelo because it's a beautiful property.
Yeah.
Family owned.
I would stay there.
And, the mother, Alberto's mother was there as well, and the grandmother was there as well that day too. And the
mother was cooking.
So the whole family's in on it, and they love what they do. They're expanding year after year. They keep adding a little bit to it, so there's more to do when you get there. And it's a beautiful place.
I would definitely stay in those glamping area. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
So and our last visit was equally beautiful, completely different background heritage. You know what I loved when we went up? It's called Fattoria di Fugnano. So Fattoria is a farm. So Poderio is a farmhouse, Fattoria is another farm. Cantina is a winery, just to learn the different terminologies. It's not a factory, but it's a farm. So Fattoria di Fugnano has an interesting heritage. The family is originally, the Pensabene family, is from Sicily. The father, Andrea Pensabene, was a tomato farmer. They grow a lot of tomatoes in Sicily. They're good too. And he came to Fugnano and acquired land, much like the Moro family. They came after the war and started acquiring abandoned land and start the rebuilding process because everything was devastated.
Yeah.
And they literally helped rebuild the town. Because the village itself has documents dating back to 1254. And then it was abandoned. And then in 1963, Andrea Pensabeni came and settled and started acquiring land and helping the area's economy by doing this. That also included planting grapes. And he kept acquiring land. And it's a very big estate, but not all of it's dedicated to vines.
Yeah, I think it's 200 hectares now.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty decent size.
Yeah, and 23 under vines, so
Yeah.
223.
So there's a lot of forest on that land as well, and obviously a lot of it. It's basically a small village that they've renovated as well. So there's a little church and chapel on the property, number of outbuildings, etc. And then there's obviously the winery buildings
It
too.
reminded me of the Villa Franciacorta. What happened there? A similar story.
Right.
So what's interesting is Andrea's son became a very successful lawyer. And it was time to decide which of his children were going to take over the winery. His daughter really wanted it, Laura. She was studying law. She was young, and she said, I can do it. And he didn't think so because she was a woman. He wanted the brother to do it. And we've heard this story many times.
Yeah.
The daughter wants it, but no, she's a woman. It's not a woman's role. But Laura persevered, and finally Papa gave in. And in 2000, at the age of 23, Laura, her name now is Delaria, Pensabeni Delaria, took over. And she calls herself the custodian of the land. Her son now works with her. Her ex-husband works with her as well. It's a beautiful state. What was interesting, David, is when we showed up, it was like a movie. Laura was in the center. Everybody was in white. And
they were all wearing overalls.
They were all wearing white overalls. And they all just stood there in a line as the welcome group. And it was really impressive.
Yeah, it was very well done.
Yeah, very well done. And so we toured. One of the young men worked there. Actually, he's from San Diego. We toured the vineyards with her son, and then we went to the beautiful tasting. We saw the chapel, and then we went to their beautiful tasting room and tasted through her incredible wines.
And it's a family affair too, because she does have her son working with her. He's an agronomist and helps make the wine. But the winemaker is her ex-husband.
Yes, and they get along.
We
met him briefly.
They all live near each other.
Yeah.
And
Laura's a personality.
She's a lot of fun.
We'd love to get her on the show. She is her Sicilian passion comes through. She's very proud of it. In fact, at the very end of our tasting, she had a little cart serving Sicilian gelato for us. It was so special. But let's talk about wines, because they were special too. Of course, we had the Bianchi, the Vernaccia di San Gimignano. Yes. Her names are also women themed. There was the Fugnano, which is the entry level, 2025, so the newest release. And then there was the Donna Gina. She has a few under the Donna Gina label.
Correct.
Which is her Classica, I would think. And this one, the 2024, was 24 hours in maceration, 18 months in still, very spicy, stone fruit, herbs, and that wonderful salinity.
So it was interesting. We tasted. We did a comparative tasting of those two wines, which were the Fugnano
and the Donna
Gina. And the Donna Gina, I think she considers that her Reserva.
Yes.
So we tasted comparative tastings over vintages. So
they're definitely, the Donna G's more unctuous.
And the first we tasted was the Fugnano 2025 Vernaccia di San Gimignano.
So 12 hours of maceration.
Which is just released. If released yet. I'm not sure if it was. However, so of course there wasn't a 2025 Donna Gina to try because that's still aging.
Exactly.
And we also then tasted two 2024s. Mm-hmm. One was the Fugnano regular, and then there was the Donna Gina 2024, which is out now. And then the third pairing was the Fugnano 2019, fabulous vintage in Tuscany, by the way, for both red and whites. And then the Donna Gina 2019, all Vernaccias.
What did you think in terms of the comparison?
This is where I was very surprised at how well I find Vernaccia is starting to age now, because people are making it to age. Yeah. And they're making it to release a little bit later so that it has a little bottle time and tank time and bottle time before they put it out the door. And I think that's one of the best things that Vernaccia has going for it these days.
It retains its freshness.
Yeah.
It has this amazing sapidity, a little more
Mm-hmm.
spice. I liked the aged wines. I particularly like the Donagina Reservas.
Yeah,
I
it's
just
delicious.
thought they were beautiful. I'd like to have had them for a meal. We also tasted some reds.
Yeah.
Toscana Rosso, Donagina, 100% Sangiovese. I thought this was a very nice, fun wine to have a pizza. And then Legami, 20, I hope I pronounced it right. This was her Super Tuscan. Yeah.
Accent aigu over the A.
Accent aigu. Cabernet Sauvignon, 30%, Merlot, 30%.
So this is her version of a Super Tuscan.
Yeah, this was robust.
Cabernet Merlot, Syrah.
Yeah.
Delightful one.
Yeah, steak. Steak. The steak of Fiorentina. Terrific. We loved this wine. It was very beautiful. We hope to get Lauren a show her. Everybody's passion. They're Italian. They're going to show their passion. But knowing she had to fight to get her father's approval, and you can see it. She's fierce. She takes her role, as she said, I'm the custodian of my land. Really amazing. I can't recall if they have an agritourism. I think they may. I can't recall, but it's a beautiful place to visit.
But many of the wineries in this area do have rooms to rent. Or
last year we went to Il Columbia, another kind of like town that was taken over, and that has a beautiful inn, a chapel. When there's a chapel, it was a town, a restaurant, and a swimming pool. A great place to stay. Also, really nearby, beautiful wines.
Yeah, and then also Silvestro last year, when we went to visit them, they're more of a restaurant than a winery. They only make 7,000 bottles a year, but their restaurant is one of the top restaurants in the area.
Yeah, Tenuta La Silvestro,
and they also have a hotel attached.
Yeah, wonderful people. Yeah. I tasted through their wines and
it's just down the hill from the village of San Gimignano as well.
That's a great place to stay. I mean, in many ways, you have to decide if you want to be in town and have the hills and no car, or if you are driving around Tuscany, you're better off staying at one of these wonderful wineries and getting a lift into town. There's transportation or cabs to get you to as David underscored, there are no cars up to the top of the village.
No, they actually close off the village during the day, so you can't get in and out.
Yeah.
The only way to do that is to walk.
So
the gates.
So if you're doing a self drive through Tuscany in this area, we would highly recommend staying at any one of these wonderful agritourisms that we recommended, or Il Cappuccino, David mentioned, just outside of town, and then going to town and spending the day walking around. If you don't have a car, definitely want to stay in town. There's several lovely hotels in town, and it's just walkable.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier, there's really a number of great restaurants in that town.
I think that was probably my biggest surprise when we have visited over the time, that every meal we've had there has been exceptional. I mean, just the caliber is beyond what I expected.
Yeah, and it's not your typical trattoria fare. It's inventive. It's well architecturally plated, should we say? I don't know what you want to call that, but there's a lot of thought that goes into the presentation on the dishes as well, and the food's wonderful.
Yeah. So we'll be posting a lot of that on our blog, The Connected Table. So we encourage you to subscribe, and we'll be sharing it on our Facebook page and Instagram.
Yeah, and there's great shopping in that town as well.
Oh yeah,
some wonderful.
The market.
There's a market on Thursday mornings. There's like a Provençal style market, but an Italian one.
No food, just.
And exactly.
Clothing,
no food, just
clothing and crafts,
just wares and crafts and things like that. But there's also a lot of great art shops and curio shops and
clothing shops,
and hat shops and
also Sula Maria and
stores,
wine shops, tecas. It's just a delightful town, and you just, everything winds around, and you'll just down a little alley, you'll see the most amazing place. And within that, you can get a pass to the Civita, the civic museums, and get a pass to go see all the different museums, which you highly recommend. And if you have the strength and then I'd say mobility and ability, do the tower. It's a lot of stairs, and then there's this ladder.
Well, that's just the top.
But it's the ladder.
That's the last floor.
but we did
there's
it.
about 200 steps.
I don't know if I would do it again, but it was
for the weak of heart.
No, it's not. But I'm glad we did it this time.
But they're modern. It's a stainless steel set of steps that they built inside the tower to go up. So you don't have to, it's not all ladders like I had to do in the Middle Ages.
Best time to visit, I'd say early spring. It'll be cool, but it'll be beautiful. We were there in May. It was great. There were bus tours, but it was really pleasant, probably a little crazy in the summer. I have not been in the autumn, but I think it'd be beautiful around harvest. So anyway, put San Gimignano on your travel itinerary, but also some of these amazing wineries we talked about, because they have beautiful places to visit and stay as a great option.
Yeah.
Love this. I can't wait to go back. Thank you to the Consortio Vernaccia di San Gimignano. Really, they do a class act, hosting us,
great job,
entertaining the meals. We had a Michelin star chef from around the area do, I think it was called Ronca. It was amazing. So thank you. We are honored to be invited, and we can't wait to go back. Anyway, you've been listening to another edition of our Tuscany sojourn around wine and food with the Connected Table Live. We hope you're inspired to go out there and step outside of your comfort zone and try new places and drink new wines and eat new foods, because we want you to always stay insatiably curious.